Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Persephone's Pantry. So today I'm excited to share with you my vegan rice paper rolls, and we're going to be using these beautiful king oyster mushrooms, which I'm going to fry in a soy sticky glaze, and then we're going to be serving them with a beautiful peanut dipping sauce. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to make a really quick pickle. So I'm going to pickle these beautiful enoki mushrooms. They are just so cool. This will just give it a really nice little extra element of kind of tanginess because of the vinegar. I'm going to do all of these. And so in the jug, I have 100 mils of warm water, 100 mils of vinegar, just white vinegar or rice wine vinegar is fine, a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of sugar. And so when you buy your enoki mushrooms, they will come with quite a thick root on them, so just cut that bit off and you should be left with kind of this at the end. And then we'll just break them up a little bit and then we'll pour the vinegar on. Beautiful. All right, I'll put this on. And we will just give them some time to pickle, and we'll just leave them to one side, and then they should be ready a little bit later. So your next step is to cook your vermicelli noodles. I have 100 grams of vermicelli noodles here, and I'm just going to cover them in boiling water and just leave them to sit for about 10 minutes. I'm going to cover them with a plate so all the steam gets kept in. And then in about 10 minutes, I'll strain them, run some cold water over them to cool them off, and then just leave them in the sieve so all the water drains, and then they'll be ready. Okay, so now we're going to slice our beautiful king oyster mushrooms. We want them to be quite thick because you want them to be quite substantial and kind of hold their shape in the pan when you fry them. So I'm just going to cut them about this thickness. And they are just so beautiful. It gives them they have such a nutty, beautiful taste to them. So just like that, be perfect. And the reason why I'm using mushrooms today is because I've made a conscious decision to reduce the amount of meat that I consume and eat a lot more plant-based food. So you'll be definitely seeing a lot more plant-based food in my recipes and on my YouTube, which I hope you'll be a part of and enjoy me on that journey. And yeah, the reason I guess for that decision is because I watched a documentary that really kind of hit home, especially about like health reasons, about really reducing your meat content in your diet. So then the documentary is called Game Changers. If you haven't checked that out, go and check it out because it's definitely worth a watch. So these are all ready now, and I will go and fry them off. So we're going to make a little glaze for our beautiful mushrooms, and that is going to consist of 3 teaspoons of sweet soy. It's a really sticky, kind of syrupy soy, which is what we want. 3 teaspoons of that. 2 teaspoons of just a dark soy. And then 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. This is quite potent, so really don't need too much of that. It's a beautiful smell though. That will really bring out the nuttiness in the mushrooms as well. And then just generous teaspoon of mirin, which is a Japanese rice wine. Beautiful. We'll just stir that all together, and then we will baste our mushrooms with this in a second. So I have my pan on quite a high heat, and I'm going to dry fry the mushrooms, so don't put any oil or anything in your pan. If you have a really good non-stick pan, that will help a lot. And the reason we don't want to put any oil is because we don't want them to kind of go soggy, and when you dry fry something, it really brings out the nuttiness, especially obviously in mushrooms, so it will really benefit this dish. Okay, so our mushrooms are getting really beautifully golden, like a really deep golden color. And that is exactly what you want. And you really want to be quite patient with them. Give them time to go this beautiful color. And then I'm going to give them a little baste with this sauce. Now they've gone nice and brown. So the mushrooms are done now, looking absolutely beautiful. And now we're going to start slicing all of our vegetables into baton shapes. Okay, so to slice the cucumber, we're going to top and tail it. And then this is a bit of a funny shaped cucumber. It's not as even as normal, but what we're going to do is cut it in half, then cut into thin slices, which are then going to be cut into batons. And you want everything to be the same size, so your carrots, capsicum, and your cucumber and everything to be the same size, so it's easy to put in the rice paper when we're rolling it. So just like that is perfect. Some people don't like the seeds because they're a bit watery, but I don't like wastage, so I'm going to pop them in anyway. So I've just started julienning this beautiful purple carrot. If you can't get hold of purple carrots, just use a red cabbage to give that kind of purple, vibrant, beautiful color. And if you don't have a julienne peeler like this, I will quickly show you. Just take your carrot, top and tail it. I don't peel my carrots because that's where all the nutrients is in the skin. But obviously it's a personal preference. If you like to, then you can. So you just thinly slice them like that, and then just slice them as thin as you can. And that's a good alternative if you don't have a peeler. Okay, so now we're just going to slice the capsicum in the same length as the rest of the vegetables. Just like this. Beautiful splash of red for our rainbow board of colour. Okay, so the last vegetable to cut is the spring onions, and I also like doing these lengthways. So what I start off by doing is just peeling the outer layer off, because that can just be a bit tough. Put that to one side, same with this one. And then I will cut it in half, so like the same size as kind of all the other vegetables. And then what I will do is I'll split it down the middle, and then split it again down the middle, and that's fine. Or if you want to, you can split it one more time so it's super thin, and then kind of get something a little bit like this. Okay, so one very important component to these beautiful rice paper rolls is fresh herbs, because it really just brings them all to life. So all I'm going to do, I've got some coriander here and some mint. If you can get some Thai basil or Vietnamese mint, then that will also be beautiful, but I know they're not widely available. So some coriander and mint will be perfect. I like to keep them quite whole. You can chop them if you wish. Some coriander, and then just pick some mint like that. And that is pretty much all our ingredients good to go. And now we'll just strain our vermicelli noodles. So because these noodles are really long, it kind of can be a little bit messy and annoying when making rice paper rolls. So I quite like to cut them. So I've just got some clean scissors here, and I'm just gonna chop them into smaller pieces just to make it easier when you're assembling the rice paper rolls. So to make our beautiful peanut dipping sauce, I've got 50 mils of soy sauce in here. I have 50 mils of a lemon juice and 20 mils of vegetable oil or canola oil. And then I'm going to add 2 large tablespoons of peanut butter. I like crunchy. You can use smooth if you want, but I really love the texture that crunchy peanut butter gives to this sauce. So I'm just going to pour all of this in here. Oh, and I've also got a tiny pinch of cayenne pepper just because I like a little bit of a kick. But you can leave that out if you don't like spice. So I'm just going to whiz this up for a couple of seconds first and then I add the peanut butter. So this is the consistency that we're looking for. But I like it a little bit more tangy than it actually is at the moment. So I'm just gonna cut open this ginormous, amazing lemon and just squeeze a little bit more in. And I also like it with a little bit more of a kick. So I'm just gonna put a little bit more cayenne pepper in it as well. Just a splash more. And then a tiny bit more cayenne pepper. Probably a bit more than that. That should do. Just going to give it a good stir. And then oh, that's good. It might not seem like I added much more cayenne pepper, but you really don't need that much. You can definitely taste the difference. So that is all good to go. Okay, so now for my favorite part, the assembling, which means the rolling of the rice paper rolls. So I'm just using these Vietnamese rice paper rolls, and then I've got some hot water here, like boiling water, and then just kind of dip it in, and then until it goes soft. I'll just use tongs to get it out because it's quite hot. I don't mind them a little bit firmer, but I know some people prefer them like completely soft. Like that's absolutely fine for me. And then you just dangle it off a little bit. And I'm using a silicone mat here, which is really easy to roll them on. Okay, so we have our rice paper, it's nice and soft. And you can really start with any ingredients that you wish. I always start with my herbs first. I go along like this because I'm always thinking about how it looks when it's finished. So I'm putting the herbs in because that'll be what you see first on the top. And then I'm going to put one of these beautiful mushrooms that we cooked earlier. And then you basically just put it in whatever order you wish. Just like this. And it's just going to look like a rainbow in a roll. This, and then some of those beautiful pickled enoki mushrooms that we did earlier. There's some vermicelli noodles, just to give it a bit more texture and a bit more structure in the rice paper. A couple more. And I don't like to put any sauce or anything in first. That's why I make the peanut sauce, so I can dip it in. And then we shall roll. So what you do is you get one edge and fold it over and then kind of stick it to the side. And you get the other edge, you kind of stick it to that side. It's gonna be a little bit fiddly, but it's fun, and it's also be a fun one to do with kids as well because it's very interactive. And then we roll it over like this, and then that's when we really pull and tuck, and then we roll, 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 nice and tightly. And we have our beautiful rice paper roll. And then I'll absolutely smother that in the peanut butter sauce because it's delicious. And only 50 more to go. Okay guys, so I didn't quite get round to rolling 50, but 5 will do me perfectly for lunch. The cameraman might get 1 if he's very lucky. If he's produced good content, he will get 1 rice paper roll. Thanks again for watching, guys, and if there's any recipes you would like me to make, please comment below if you have any ideas or anything, especially if you're making that transition to be vegetarian or vegan or just eat a bit more plant-based in general. I'd really love to hear your thoughts and your comments on that. And if you take any photos of you making these, please tag me at Persephone's Pantry on Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And that is all from me. Bye, guys.